What's up everybody? So today we're going to be opening up the Sager NP8954 or the Clevo P955ER. I already tried to open it up and I kind of cracked the vent a little bit on the side, so my friend Nodi is going to actually help me open it up so we can install an M.2 drive in there. So we're going to take this out of the sleeve. So it's actually on the other side. Oh, I think I cracked it down. So as you can see, I kind of cracked it just a little bit right over here. Focus that. Cracked it just a little bit trying to open it, trying to pry it open, and I used a screwdriver instead of a plastic tool. So, freaked out, he's gonna help me out. Before we begin, you're gonna need a laptop opening kit. And in case you don't have one, I'll link it down below. You're gonna need something with plastic openers and a screwdriver with a magnetic head. Definitely want the plastic openers so then you can prevent any type of shock damage to your equipment. So the first thing you're going to have to do is remove the 11 screws that are on the back panel. Once you've removed the screws, you're going to use the hex bit on your screwdriver to push through the indicated holes on the back panel. You will push through the holes until you hear a small click. After you hear the clicks, you will use the flathead plastic tool to release the clips that are holding the keyboard to the computer body. You don't want to use the hooked plastic piece because it will prove to be more difficult than the flat-headed tool. You will need to push down on the clips that are on the top side of the keyboard and you will hear some clicking noises. Once those are released, you can gently lift your keyboard and you'll see that there are 3 ribbons underneath, 2 of them with safety and 1 of them without. Use your plastic tool to lift up the safeties on the 2 smaller ribbons. Once you've lifted those up, you can gently pull those out. Then, you can gently pull out the larger ribbon. No tools are needed for that one, just give it a gentle pull. Once you pull those off, now you can completely remove your keyboard. It is its own hardware.
Which is cool. Easily replaceable if you do get it wet or anything like that, so keep that in mind.
Now that you've removed the keyboard, you're going to need to remove the 5 screws that are underneath the keyboard that are holding the back plate to the body of the computer. The J1 bit is a great fit for these screws.
Next level.
Once you've removed the 5 screws that are underneath your keyboard, you're going to want to use a combination of your plastic tools and the soft metal tools that you have in your kit to release the clips and to gently pry open the back panel of your computer. We finally got the backplate off and we can see that there are 2 separate cooling units, one for the GPU and another for the CPU. There's a 1TB SATA drive, there's the battery pack, there's 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, which is 2 sticks of 8 GB RAM. there's the copper CPU heatsink, and there's also space for an M.2 SSD, which is what we will be installing. Before working on the interior of the computer, we're going to have to remove the battery to prevent any type of shock damage from happening. Nodi's also going to be wearing a wrist grounder and attaching it to an aluminum surface to prevent static shock from being conducted through his fingertips.
Next level.
We encountered a minor issue when trying to install the M.2 drive. It turns out that the battery, or the screw for the battery, is right underneath where the M.2 drive needs to be installed. So instead of removing the battery completely, we're just going to use the plastic tool to unplug it. Now that the battery has been unplugged, we can install the M.2 drive. Make sure that the label side is facing up and that you install the drive at an angle. Once the drive is placed into its proper location, simply push it down and gently tighten the screw. Now that we've finished installing the M.2 drive, we can see where the conflict was between the drive and the battery pack. And also, now that we've finished installing all that we needed to install on the inside of the computer, we can plug the battery pack back in. We're now done opening the laptop and installing the M.2 drive. All that's left now is for us to put it right back together. To start putting it back together, you're going to start at the bottom of your back plate and you work your way up from there.
Next level.
Clicks. Now that everything's in place, you just need to turn the computer on to ensure that the keyboard has been installed correctly. I've gotten used to just seeing the white backlit keys on the MacBook. It's kind of nice to see different colors on the back of this keyboard.
Nice little magnet tip that comes with that beautiful little Amazon kit.
Yeah, I love that magnet tip. That just stays there, marinating in that little hole.
Pause. Content. Look how good the magnet powers are. It goes through 2 screws.
That's freaking great.
That's kind of crazy. By the way, I'm only putting these 2 screws in here for the keyboard because it doesn't affect actually closing the computer. But when you do put screws, you want to follow an order. You don't want to jump around.
Once you've placed back in all the screws, your computer is ready to go. If you haven't done so already, I highly recommend that you install your operating system to your M.2 drive to get the most out of your performance for your computer. So that about wraps it up for this video. If you like what you saw, be sure to like and subscribe. Don't smash your like button because you might just break your phone. Just touch it. Just touch the like button and I'll get the like. Anyways, thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you when you see me.